from a pool of athletes and compete against other teams. Well, believe it or not, we are less than 1 month away from the deadline to file your taxes. You have until April 15th to file your 2012 tax returns. And if you're still working on it, or maybe haven't even started, there are a few things that you should know before you do that. Well, joining us now are financial experts Gene Marks and Elliot Miller. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
Thanks, Joyce.
All right, well, it seems like there's something new every single year with taxes. Nothing ever good for me, but I'm hoping this year that the changes are going to help me. Elliot, you talk about the individual tax returns, and Gene, what are the businesses doing?
Yeah, I mean, there really aren't that many changes going into this year. There is one change that we can still make ourselves, which can help our tax bill, and I do want to say that you can still make an IRA contribution, which will affect your 2012 tax year. It has the effect, if you've earned, let's say, $50,000, and you can put, let's say, $2,000 in, you're in the 20% tax bracket, let's say, it has the effect of writing yourself a $400 check, getting tax-free savings on whatever gains you make, and then taking it out much later for retirement. So that's one of the things you can change.
But this is 2013.
Well, I'm talking about last year's taxes due on April 15th.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you could still do that in the new year. Go ahead, Gene.
Joyce, just to say, so remember, for most businesses, taxes were due on March 15th, which was last week. But if you're a business like mine, a lot of small businesses, we extend our taxes into the next year until April 15th. So this does apply to everybody. What I would do, particularly if I was working for a business, small business or large business, I would ask your employer about the education deduction. This was extended as part of the fiscal cliff deal. An employer like me, if I spend $5,250 on your education, you can get that money to use for higher education, and it's completely non-taxable to you at all, and I get a deduction. So, of course, it costs me a little money, but I do get a tax deduction for doing this. And also, you can get some training and some education that might help me in my business, as well as you in your development. So that's a good thing to ask your employer about. That was extended into 2013 because of the fiscal cliff conversation.
Well, those are pretty good tips. Well, Elliot, is it a good time then to look at your 401k? You talked about what you could do there with the IRAs and other retirement and investments, since the stock market has been doing so well. What should we be doing?
It's been doing great. It's funny because I get the question now after the market's gone up a lot, and we never know, of course, if it's going to keep going. But if somebody's asking me now whether they should get in more, or if they were asking me, as they were 3 or 4 years ago, whether they should pull back, the answer is kind of the same. It means you probably didn't have a plan, and the best thing to do is have a plan for what you're going to need, how much volatility you can accept to get there, how much time you have left, and really work the plan. Whether the market's going up or down, none of us have any control over it, but we do have control over what we do with our savings.
So, Gene, is it a time when you or bigger businesses can see if you can hire more people?
Well, let me ask you, Joyce, do you like to spend money around tax time, right? When you see your tax bill, are you in a buying mood? So it's really not a great time for hiring right now, only because as small businesses are starting to look at their tax bills, and they look at the cost involved in that, they start thinking about whether or not they should spend on other things like hiring more people, unfortunately.
Yikes, how long will it take you to get over that?
Hopefully not too long.
All right, Gene and Elliot, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Very good tips. Thank you.
Thanks, Joyce.
Okay, well, a different take on spring break. Next, what unusual plans hundreds of college students made for their time off, and tracking your kids coming up. What a new app does that teens say is going way too far for them.
An Easter invasion showers Springfield.